Then we will transition hopefully right into our race. So good luck, and it is all yours, Muppets.
This is the Lunarian News Network, your source for League news.
Hello everyone, I'm Invenerable,
And I'm Muppets in Space.
and welcome to the Lunar Path.
The first inaugural Highway to the Zemus Zone League is underway. The competition is incredibly fierce and always surprising. From veteran speedrunners to new-coming rando heads, this league is marked with all different levels of experience and style, which is the beauty of a randomizer, the propensity to draw out all walks and types. We know that these league matches are numerous and held at all sorts of hours. It's almost impossible to keep up with what's happening, but if you've ever raced a siege, you know that there is always more to a race than the time you got. So we've taken the highlights from each race and put them all together for your quick and easy consumption.
A quick thank you to Scala Kitty for the visuals. Scala, care to say hello?
There is no Scala. There is only.
He's been working real hard, everyone.
Overtime. Now let's get to work here. The league opener turned out to be a jet seed with early underground access. Elmagus finds the crystal first from a free fight in the Asura spot.
What?
Muppets, Elmagus, and Supremacy all make it to the Zeromus fight in under an hour, but low HP wipes for Supremacy and Muppets hand Elmagus the victory.
Race 2 was a not quite hook seed that had all runners neck and neck through the underground. But in the end, it was Sheila who had the crystal the whole time, and Supremacy nets a big win by following Baron Key to Pan and checking it early. Not to be overlooked, Niram showed us some swag, taking advantage of Karate's AI to get the kill in a tough spot.
Race 3 was the troll seed we were all waiting for. Fruitless fights, multiple wipes, and seemingly no crystal in sight. Just lackluster rewards left and right. In the end, the answer was demissed at Wyvern's location, which Couch figures out first, netting him a first place finish.
Race number 4, the first we've seen with no sirens for sale. But an early package turn-in for Edge makes up for a lot. A relatively free fight in the Leviathan spot looks valuable with D-Mist being there, but it leads to a long 20-minute chain ending with a Bahamut summon reward. Meanwhile, Invenerable, who is the only runner who didn't pick up Edge, takes the risk and goes to the moon after 10 key items and is rewarded with the crystal, and first place by a huge margin. It should be noted that even though I had controller issues in the center of this run, it would not have gotten me anywhere near Invenerable's time.
Oof. Way to control your temper on that one, Muppets.
Puns make Lavos angry!
Dear Lord, can we get her time for a nap or something?
Race 5 saw a very clean race that was decided by the order into the underground. Sumi Leone gets there first, with Chokosura not too far behind. Chokosura hits it big, finding Bahamut in a trapped chest, letting Isridia trivialize much of the underground. Dipwood showed off a new technique in this race, reflecting the D-Lunar's breath attack and turning them into frogs.
Race number 6 was a seesaw battle right up to the end. The Fizz charges to the moon and finds the Pan in the Pale Dim location, decides to leave immediately to check it, and the hunch proves true as it nets him the crystal. The Fizz ends up being the first to Zeromus by a lot, but Porum's HP fails him, and an unnerfed Big Bang hands him the wipe that puts Elmagus in line for the win. After Elmagus finishes, the other 3 runners all end up in the Zeromus fight together for a close race between 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Race 7 was everyone's favorite, a jet seed! With the crystal at Fabul and the darkness crystal at Ordeals, this became a race to a white mage. Nightdew and company find a Rydia dupe in the Lunar Castle, and with no help at all above ground, this jet seed turns hook. Valvolus in the Dwarf Castle hurts, and Nightdew berserks everyone to try and claw his way through it. Tella joins him there for his troubles, but the real reward is the Sand Ruby, which nets Nightdew Porum. and the first place finish. With only 43 seconds separating 2nd and 4th place, this seed came all the way down to the wire and showed how the little things can really add up.
Race 8 showed us just how rando the rando can be, showing a lot of divergence in paths taken, grind fights used, and party configurations. And Supremacy gets to show off the new fan favorite Lunar Frog Breath Reflect strat. Zyrak finds the pass in Sealed Cave, but with no Sirens or Darkness Crystal, opts to grind on walls. Meanwhile, Scratch Dragon finds the Darkness Crystal at Odin's spot. Both Scratch and Supremacy do a D-Machine grind that catapults them into a first place and second place finish respectively. While grinding is happening, Demarin gets caught by what looks like value out of the Dark Elf spot with D-Mist and falls down yet another trapping of the seed. Eventually, Zyrak takes third.
Race number 9 was all about Starveils and Fusoya. Dipwood makes good use of them against Golbez at Baigan's spot, while Scratch Dragon uses them against Bahamut at Mount Ordeals. Dusty Griff uses them against Wyvern as well. But here we see Dipwood dipping Baron Castle early and being rewarded with Fusoya, trivializing most of his mid-game enemies, allowing him the pop to clear Babel Tower for the crystal. And another tough spot early in Sealed Cave to grab the pass. With Adamant Armor on Fu, other high magic defense gear on Porum, and Cecil with optimum agility, he breezes through the Z fight to an easy victory.
Race 10 was a lot about shopping to start, and then we saw the rando really scramble everybody up. Penguinator ends up being the first to get to the underground to continue shopping percent, and is the first to the Darkness Crystal through the Tower Key. Ultimately, he's the first to use the pan on Yang, going straight to Sheila after both the talk and then the vanilla pan pickup for the crystal. While Penguinator grinds, Z-Man finally decides to give the pan a try, as the others fall down their respective key item rabbit holes. Set up with a 4-mage party, Penguinator uses pure reflect strats, ignoring all healing and just dealing damage right up to the end for an easy, if a bit of a nail-biting first place. Arguably the fan-favorite addition to this randomizer is the Z flag, which changes the Zeromus True Form sprite to something different every time. Scalakitty has lovingly added over 200 possible sprites to this randomizer, and it's certainly her favorite part of the game. To highlight this, we present a segment to you all called the Z Sprite Spotlight. Scala, which sprite are we looking at this time?
Our Z Sprite Spotlight comes from match number 8. It's Thomas the Tank Engine. I love the meme of modding Thomas into all sorts of games, so I couldn't pass up the opportunity to bring his particular locomotive and not at all nightmare-inducing charm to free Enterprise.
Thank you, Scala. We'll have more of that later, but right now, back to the action. Oh boy.
Hey, Muppets, I can help out.
Scala, you're okay?
Of course I am. Why would you ask?
All right then, let's get to it. Race 11 showed us the difference a pass can make and the power of Edward, but not really. Our runners are handed the crystal early at the Baron Inn location, but with no way to the moon, they have to hook their way down for progression. Kirshen gets to the underground first, breaking through an uncommonly easy upper Babel with Karate and Bahamut. Kirshen is the only runner to hit Zot, stuns us all by keeping Edward over Sid. The reward is the pass. Nightdew and company find Darkness Crystal in exchange for the Rat Tail, but the pass allows Kirshen quicker access to Zeromus, and that proves to be the difference for first place in this race.
Race 12 was yet another Jet Seed. Our runners see D-Mist and Fabul, which leads to Rat Tail, to Sandruby, to Fusoya. Kirshen was the only one who doesn't take it early. Mr. Yupik gets through the underground first, but opts to take the free items and get out, while Muppets checks on a free boss in the Azura spot, which gives him the crystal. Funny enough, none of the runners did ordeals before diving the underground with Hook, and they get a slap in the face when they see the Magma Key at the Ordeal Summit. Big Dunka gets himself to 10 key items while Muppets is stuck at 9, which proves a big difference in experience grinding, enough to slingshot him past Muppets for a first place finish, even with Muppets going with those reflect strats.
Race 13 had access to the underground instantly with a magma key start and the pass handed out at the Antlion Cave. The pan at Barren Inn offers a lot of impetus to go clear underground, but they find a nasty encounter at the Leviathan location in Ogopogo. This makes our runners do a bit of a double take, eventually pushing them to the moon to find their progress. With all the options available, Scratch Dragon decides to go back and have a grudge match with Ogopogo, which proves to be the big play for the crystal. Already in the underground, Scratch does a quick egg grind, then jets up to Toria to use the pass and kick Zeromus' butt first.
Race 14 started with great characters in Palom, Sid, Porum, and Kane. Fusoya at Dwarf Castle rounded out the power party. Also, we had value on ordeals as Kobahi makes the small risk and gets the crystal. Elmagus opts not to do ordeals and follows item chains all the way to the moon, which leads him nowhere. Kobahi is the first in go mode by a mile, and with Paladin Cecil armed with a crystal sword, finds himself poised for an easy first place victory. Dusty Griff finds the pass from Sheila, and after Penguinator takes second, the pass proves to be the difference between third and fourth.
Race 15 split our runners between the moon and the underground, but started out with a bang as Wyvern makes an appearance at the Baron Guard's spot. Obda Jr. hooks down to Upper Babil early, but Antlion at the King Queen Eblon spot hits hard, making him think twice about his dive. D-Mist was in Dwarf Castle, and Rivers checks it early to be the first to nab the crystal, with Chokashura hot on his heels. It all comes down to grind techniques in this one, Rivers doing a faster King Ryu grind on the moon, while Chokashura takes the more common egg grind on Earth. Rivers has a brutal Zeromus fight, but survives through it for the victory, with Chokasura coming in second behind.
Race 16 was sneaky brutal. Kane, Sid, Palom, and Fusoya are good, and Magma Key in Antlion Cave is great! Also, Darkness Crystal from Baronet is an excellent find, but sometimes a seed can be a little too open. With no real direction, all four runners go to the moon and scour for key items. At 1 hour and 40 minutes in, we finally get our crystal from the Tower of Zot after getting Earth Crystal from the Ogopogo spot on the moon. Dragon Dark finishes a staggering 22 minutes ahead of the rest of the runners, one of the widest margins of victories we've seen in the league so far.
In race 17, our runners did what they could to stay out of Eblon Cave, but it was a forced hook seed all the way. Silverfire leads the pack most of the way, being the first through to the underworld, and the first to go get the Darkness Crystal from the Leviathan spot. But Silverfire chooses to divert to the Giant of Babil to grind D-Machines early, which takes a bit of time. This allows F. Coughlin to grab the crystal from the Wyvern spot first, with Niram close behind. And that's how it ends, with F. Coughlin finishing in first, followed by Niram, and then Silverfire.
Race 18 starts out with the hook and a little warning of things to come, as our runners see that Evil Wall is in Rubicante's spot, a truly nasty encounter. Most runners look for another way down, but Invenerable bites the bullet and makes the dive. Avoiding that rough encounter proves to be big, as killing the D-Mist gives out the Magma Key and a way around the Evil Wall. Invenerable eventually gets through and goes straight to the tower top, which makes him the first to get a piece of go mode with the Darkness Crystal. Ravlin also gets that piece, but then opts to take a look at Sealed Cave, which gives out the crystal and the other piece of the puzzle. Even though Ravlin gets to Z first, Kobahi slingshots past Ravlin due to levels from a D-Machine grind and edges out a victory.
Race 19 was a marathon hook seed that saw a ton of party wipes and resets. We get our first rude nudge from the seed at Baron Inn with Wyvern, followed by Golbez. Next one in the dive down to Upper Babil, where we see Dark Knight at the King Queen Eblon spot doing about 600 damage a shot, forcing all of our runners to grind early. Dipwood and Elmagus get through the Dark Knight fight and see Antlion behind that one for a simply brutal follow-up fight. The final count of party wipes and resets from Dark Knight? 15. After an hour and 20 minutes of various choices, party wipes and mistakes, all four runners end up on the moon with an equal chance at finishing first. Obda Jr. takes a huge lead by checking Cave Magnus first and getting the crystal, but with lower levels needs to grind doors to make up for the levels not gained on the moon. And while Obda grinds, Dipwood finds the crystal, and they enter the Zeromus fight at roughly the same time. With higher levels and hybrid reflect strats, Dipwood ekes out a victory over Obda and the rest of the crowd at over 2 hours.
Race 20, another hook seed and another ugly-looking Rubicante spot. This time, it's a lunar boss. After resisting for 45 minutes, Dipwood is the first to dive the underground and finds Plague and D-Lunars there, which Dipwood applies the now famous Lunar Frog strat on. Aizen Tayama and the Fizz make up almost 15 minutes on Dipwood by checking the Azura spot early in the Land of Summon Monsters and taking a free fight with Dark Imps for the pan, which ends up leading to the Darkness Crystal. The Fizz takes the plunge to the moon right away and finds the crystal first in Cave Bahamut. That's right, it's value in Cave Bahamut. The Fizz unfortunately loses a little time to grinding, which gives Dipwood just enough time to eke out a first place finish. The value in Cave Bahamut.
Second half done. Second Z-Sprite highlight up on the way. Scala, what are we looking at this time?
Our second Z-Sprite Spotlight comes from match number 18. It is King K. Roolmus from Donkey Kong Country. This one was a community request and made its league debut only a few days after K. Rool's induction into Smash Bros. Ultimate, proving once again that Free Enterprise is totally on trend.
After 20 races for this league, let's take a look at the standings for right now. Don't blink. They're going to change real soon. Before we go, I'd like to thank all the runners who participated in the league. Rivers McGowan, Boardface, and everyone else in the development team. You guys are doing the work. To everyone watching, thank you so much for all your support and the hype. And to all the runners, good luck. And just know we're all counting on you. Good night.